Thunder, thunder, Thundercats. Oh, Thundercats. Oh, the G race, you know, the status of what it takes to be a G, you know, a god. I guess they said to inside that Bible, follow me, follow Jesus and everything, you know. And a lot of people have definitely taken that route, and everything, you know. Even whether it be, we don't necessarily know what hour they actually went ahead to say, I'm out of here, you know. Strawberry fields forever, because strawberry fields are forever. You know? But except for those who we actually see, you know, because even in, and even then, we might not be seeing what we're seeing. You know? So even as they said, follow Jesus. You know, supposedly said Jesus said, follow me. Don't worry about your brother. Don't worry about your sister. Follow me. You know, don't worry about your mother. Follow me. And a lot of people did pick up on that. Like I said, a lot of people picked up on that in many different ways. And some of the icons, like I said, you know, Strawberry Fields Forever, the Beatles, you know, even Thunder, Thundercat, oh, Lionel, okay, Lionel, which is basically the Lay family of Vietnam, you know, which are heir to the thrones also, heir to the thrones. You know, there are a lot of kings and different dynasties and so forth that I just got finished checking out. And so Vietnam brought that over here. And so the lion is basically the heir to the throne and everything. And to what throne? That of the oil. You know? That of the oil and so forth. And that's what Vietnam helped to secure over here as the exchange of the natural resources that of Vietnam even have. But more importantly, or equally important is the architecture and the structure of things, and you know, as even the manufacturing lines are filled with mostly those out of a lot of Asian people, whether it be from Vietnam, Chinese, what have you not, but a lot of Vietnam, you know. And V actually, when I was working at Medtronics, V, she actually bought a lot of food for us, and she was pretty cool and everything like that, you know. And you know, but V actually means, or Vi actually means against. Viet means against, and then Nam is man. So you're against man. But we're gonna come on over here and who was it? Paul Hardcastle with 19. Another generation ago, and nobody knows their history or her story. And yet we're still pushing to be heir to the throne. Either we flow with it or we crash, like Bruce Lee said. Flow with it or we crash. Even Mike went ahead and heir to the throne. You know, he bowed out of here at 50. You know, noon. Heir to the throne. You know, I think even the Joker, Prince played the Joker and everything, and so he wanted to go ahead and be a king also. So he says, "New king in town, party, party, party." The Jokers, and then he bowed out, but then popped back up and everything, So it's kind of funky there, but it is what it is. But in following Jesus, it's actually, you know, a pretty good strip if you have the right key, the right key. You know, the key 93, the key. You know, thunder, 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 cats. Oh, then you become part of that G race. You know, that G race and everything. And the G is that of the Mason, and everybody's their own builder. The R A, okay, is the ruling authority, and that is the conformité urepine. Urepine. And that was the French, the word itself is French, which is basically the same double Dutch, bus flag as the Dutch, which the same is that of America's red, white, and blue too. And but following Jesus was, you had to go ahead and be on your toes to actually follow Jesus to the to the T, meaning like the cross even, and I mean to the T, because and there's three of them up there, three crosses up there, three crosses, yeah, and so not many people did that. I mean, Romanti Ezra means I have raised up a help. It has a numerical value of 973, which is located in chapter 16 of Mark. Okay, and this is where the three Marys, three armies, the three crosses are running to look and see where he's, to go ahead and put olive oil on him, and I'm sorry, the frankincense and myrrh and all that type of stuff, or yeah, and I believe anyway, but they're running to the burial place where the stone is rolled away. And I guess it was no longer capped. You know,
How fair is that?
and we have to go ahead and give thanks to that of those who did go ahead and hit those crosses. You know, now it also happens to be that out of the nine, that chapter, that verse, that chapter 973, Jesus is also mentioned 973 times. 973 times. Two of those times, though, they're speaking about Joshua in the Old Testament. And how this all came to me because, like I said, Bubba Brown, Eugene Brown Sr., he passed away in 1973. He was the first one to pass away in 1973. There's a couple more people that my family did too. But who's the first one? And he was actually going through the same type of stuff that I'm going through right now, you know, because they did not like him either. Yet, as they told me out of their own mouth, as he went to save the little girl from being raped from three white guys, another white guy went ahead and stopped them from killing him, you know? And so that's why I don't see any type of color go into this that way, or because if uh, that right there was even, and whether I am or am not his actual son, then that's okay, because these were the people who actually stood up and, hey, he told me to stand up and drive at 3, to steer, veer, steer. I got it. I got everything else. These are things, that I remember. And nobody told me that he had died. Okay, 1973, and that's what happened as far as when he, I guess, left me. Some things, and so I'm just looking at the whole thing and giving thanks on that, because we rarely go ahead and uh, even know sometimes, how much a person think of you, or even know what you're actually going up, what you're actually going to do inside of life. Okay, and it might be small, and it might be, he might be sent to one person, or he might be sent to, might be like Michael Jackson or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Be sent to a lot of people. Might be an icon that's fucking, the icon of icons, or as there are many awards right now given to a lot of people that's inside the done a lot for to steer humanity, whether it be music, whether it be in humanitarian, or whether it be in education, or any type of giving their life, devotion to these things. And so even even a lot of these movie stars, yeah, we allow them to be icons and everything. And but when we go back and look at some of the things that a lot of them went through, a lot had these tragic deaths, uh, died broke, what have you. And he made us laugh, cry on the screen, and all that type of stuff, and never know what a person was like going through. We never know. Like even the godmother of rock and roll, Rosetta. Last name, I don't know why it's kicking my butt right now, but Rosetta Tharpe. Rosetta Tharpe. She started to rock and roll on electric guitar. Godmother. Okay, went over to London, played out in the rain, and then from their own, reels and the people that was around her, it said that how many people showed up inside of her funeral and inside the church? Not that many. Not that many at all. You know, and so there's these gods or icons, this G race, you know, uh, that everybody ascribes themselves to for different reasons and seasons, contracts here, from there, or you can go ahead and be your own sovereign and follow Jesus. And follow Jesus. And what that is, you sacrifice yourself to the degree of death. Death in the human eyes, anyway. And like I said, Romanati Ezra. So you're gonna need the help. You need the help. You need the help from somebody in order to do that, because Roma need a little bit of help, to go ahead and even put him up on there. All right. Matter of fact, if you can remember, they said, "Well, who should we go ahead and keep? Should we keep Barabbas? He's the thief and everything. Or should we set him free, or should we let Jesus go free?" They said, "Let Barabbas go free." And Barabbas is actually Bar, meaning son of Abba, son of God. So they let the son of God go, but Jesus get crucified. Does it make sense? It makes dollars and cents. It makes dollars and cents. It makes yen and cents. It makes shilling and cents. It makes pesos and cents. Frankincense, matter of fact. Keep it frank. Oh, Franklin, Charlie Brown. Yeah. But so that year 1973 also, you know, I guess Bruce had reached his point and said, "Hey, I'm gonna follow Jesus." And so Bruce died. Give me a ho, the G race. Mother, his name is Grace. Ho, you know, they're not part of the Vietnamese, the Vietnam ho, but that's China's ho. And then what? Keep it in the 93, the key. Brandon Lee goes and everything. And so what happens as Jesus is still, like number one today, under three crosses anyway, so are a lot of people who have died, who have crashed, who have flowed. So a lot of people who have dashed, cried, you know, hey, put it all in, sweat, whether it be in front of the camera or behind it. Producers are really the best ones. You don't even get to see. You don't even have to see them. But for those icons that did go ahead and uh, pack that punch, pack that punch, pack them stadiums. You know, you gotta give them a ho. You know what I'm saying? Because they were thunder, thunder, thundercats. As far as bringing a lot of people together, in the unity, and the kumbayaism, uh, and all of the, even through the Confucianism, the Confucian made everybody see, even through all of that, they're fucking great, so this is what it takes to become a G race, part of the G race. Yeah. So with all of the, like I said, the electricity that's flowing through me right now, that's being amplified through this thing here in the foot here in the room that you all done set me up in. You know, I just wanted to go out here and thank you and give you a ho. All right, give you a ho. because you did that. You did that. One thing, I don't hate. I can't do that. I can't do that. It takes too much energy to do that. Matter of fact, the energy that I've been going through it, a little bit right now has even sunk and give me some sunken eyes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some sunken eyes with everything. And on top of, like I said, the extraction of water through the little direct energy weapons and shit, he's shooting them. But, you know, it's part for the course. Part for the course. Gigi 63 I Ching tells us what? What does it tell us? He said that the woman loses her house for 7 years. And it's the ching ching. It's the ching ching. And it says, don't worry about it. It'll return. It'll return. So this inheritance, along with the property, and whatever material things may be squandered. It just may be. You all didn't play your hand too well, so therefore a lot of other people got involved in everything, and therefore, so you have to go ahead and even divide up even more because we're being bobos. Bobos about the whole matter. You know? Seem to have gotten an audience and everything. A couple of people that came around a couple of times, but it is all good. It's all good. um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Today is the 17th. Actually ends his ancestor, or is it 21st? 8th to the 21st. That's right, 21st. So we still got a few more days for that of the worshiping of the ancestors and so forth right now. What you guys are doing. A lot of ancestral fires is burning right now. And even during this time too, you're gonna, like myself, as you did see, even in a sleep, rest, medium sleep, visited and woke up exactly at 2:16. Exactly at 2:16, because my grandpa came back to me as he did even inside when I was in prison, and he let me see through his eyes and let me feel the cancer inside of his body, and let me hear the doctor tell him what he had, to include syphilis. And then that very same day, I had that dream back then. This is when Bobo or Eugene comes up to visit me, um, and he goes in to tell me about the same thing my grandpa had said, as far as him having syphilis and this is what I personally think at this point in time on that, because I interrupted probably to go ahead and tell him my dream, and therefore he didn't finish what the reason why he came to me. And so the reason why he came to me is that plausibly is that he was going to go ahead and now the story he told me there is that Eugene or me papa, Papa Gene, he was in the Tuskegee experiments and injected with the syphilis. Now, when I go to look at it myself, I don't see a Eugene, but who knows? Like I said, they could have taken that money also, and because working in this military thing, had his name pulled off of that to where if I went to go look or anybody else, it was not going to be there. That's a plausibility. But it was an inkling as I sat back and sunk back into that day. It was an inkling that he was actually going to come and propose or say I have to sign something or something. He was trying to figure out a different way. But because I told him about the dream beforehand, he didn't say anything. And he didn't have too much to say after that. He didn't have too much to say after that. So the reason why I'm sharing that right now because, like I said, during this time right now, like the 8th through the 21st here, you know, this is where India, and it's only given one time inside of the Bible there, the word ancestors. But even it all over it says, hey, consult your ancestors before you even go to the gods. Okay? By that word, anyway. By that word. And so, just keep yourself open, to receive any type of messages, dreams. We don't necessarily stay here on this planet all the time, minute to minute. We're here in front of each other, and then sometimes, hey, where'd you go? Where'd you go? So just listen to them as they are inside of us. They are inside of us, trying to tell us some things. Last few days before here, I did come across this girl too. She was getting off of work and tired. See, she was tired, and she opened up her phone and started playing a little game and everything, And I was looking at the game she was playing. She was actually it was some tubes, and she was pouring each tube, chemistry, pouring each color into each tube and everything in order to fill it up, and then it would go to another level and so forth like that until she filled it up. So, and it was a nice, let's say 30 minutes, into the ride and everything. And I don't know if she was about to get off or not, but then I looked up and I said, hey, you look like you make a good chemist. And she looked and she said, she smiled and everything. She goes, and you could see inside of her, how much it really meant, even to even me say that, because she said this was a game my mom used to play, when she had some time and everything, So what I'm talking about, I gave that for that because again, during this time period right now, and all kinds of things would come to different people in different ways, and then it was uh, black chick, or not chick, black young lady. She was actually beautiful, demeanor, and she had a baby. The baby guy, was coming up and wanted to get up and everything, and say hi and all that type of stuff. And she was peeping. The mother was peeping the people rolling past with a phone, filming the line and everything. At the welfare office, filming the line, and she was giving them words that people like what the fuck but like you know. And I let her know, hey, it might not be what you think. It might because a lot of people are being followed and shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people being followed for different reasons, and so everybody's got their job. They got to do their job. You know? And so we went in to talk a little bit, and she was cool. She's actually really, like I said, really cool, in the sense that hey, we even spoke on uh, astrology and all kinds of different little shit. And she didn't necessarily agree with that, you know what I'm saying, or even with a lot of the church stuff or like that. She was very expressive and everything. It was kind of cool, you know what I'm saying? And so, and I don't never do this as far as show people, tell people about this thing here I'm doing right here. But for some reason, I went ahead and did it with her. She said she'd check it out. But it wasn't a thing that it was again we're looking at generations. We're looking at like I said, the girl on the bus with her mom. We're looking at her. She didn't know that she carried her grandmother or her mother carried a seed, carried her, and carried the baby. The baby's gonna carry her seed, and carry the baby. She didn't know that and everything. So you know, got to share that with her, and she said, "Oh, okay, wow, I didn't know that." You know? And then on the way there, another one. There's a Mexican guy with his son, and he gets on the bus, and he says, "Man, he's so fast. He's so fast. He's like 4 going on 14." And he's talking hella fast. He's not chill whatsoever. He's talking hella fast. You know. And he said he was a junior high teacher, and he didn't have his dad and everything. And he was raised by his grandpa. So he wanted to be there for his dad and everything. It's like, you know, uh, I saw how. I mean, he was like going fast, 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 fast. Like on speed. A lot of people have different metabolisms. Again, we might be, might have a excess yang, excess yin, whatever, or what do you call it, a negative yin, or something like that too. But it might be just our speed tempo. Everybody go up and down. He was going hella fast, and so, and I was share with him there. I was able to share with him too. That the so to speak wisdom or what have you not, those things of the grandfather it skips the father and actually goes to the grandson. So to be raised by a grandfather was fucking a privilege. It was so fucking cool. You know, it was really cool. And not only that, because you didn't have a father, it still applies the same way because he would have been the grandfather to your son. And so that skipped. So basically, you're raising your father. So the 4 years old to 14 is going on 4 to 14, and I wouldn't put a cap on him on 14. Okay, I wouldn't put a cap on him 14 because that's just the 14 meridians right here. It has nothing to do with the 114 chakras, in which he's probably trying to show you in so many different ways. You know, but we're busy in our world, and not able to be able to see the different uh, languages, the different perspectives in which he, and a lot of it again is having this thing in front of us, and I'm even learning some of that on myself. I mean, learn not some, a lot. You know, it has taken up quite a bit. For me, I'm not going to say positive. It's positive or negative, in the sense that I didn't mess with it. I messed with it up until 2016. So it's been about 10 years of this thing has been inside of my hand. That's about it. Other than that, I didn't mess with them. So it was in learning some of the things or uh, things that I've been learning and jumping into at this point in time for 10, pretty much 10 years. They say 10 years is change, right? 10 years is change. Back to the one again, you know? And so, wow, I didn't think about that. Yeah, 2026 would be 10 years that I've had one of these inside of my hand. 36:36 on the clock. Whoa. You ever see that? I didn't look at the clock until then, but it was there. 99, 36:36, 99. Whoa. Huh. That's cray cray. That's cray cray. Right. But yeah, anyways, just wanted to pop in and say thank you. Just wanted to pop in and say thank you. Give me a hole. Got your funky bus fare. You know. Now, now I understand why Andy Nguyen was beside himself and thinking that I really cared about that job. You're not going to get this job. You know, it was. I just read a little bit about Vietnamese history, and I could see his family name inside of there also. You know, like I said, it's a lot of people that come up underneath their family names, and they might have these positions and so forth, whether it be Nguyen, whether it be Jackson, whether it be Brown, and they don't fucking rate. They don't rate it. They just get it because it's the family name, and so they just don't rate. That's all. Not to say they don't deserve it because they've been, but some of the positions or dispositions they're in, they don't fucking rate it. All right. So, but that's okay. I'm still not a hater on that shit. It's just a trip to go ahead and sit back and actually uh, soak up a little bit more. Soak up a little bit more. One second. I'm trying to get. I see my lips is dry. Hella dry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit better. A little bit better. Yeah. A lot don't rate, you know. But still, you have to go ahead and be the good mom and dad and set them up there and make sure you know what if they screw up, Johnny screws up or Becky screws up or whoever, you know, Bobo screws up. Then we got to go in here and rectify and brush it up underneath. Hey, who was that? James Dean played in a movie like that. James Dean, I got to look that up. I remember that. You know, I forgot the name of it, but James Dean, check it out. Played in a movie where, you know, he had fucked up and they had to go ahead and cover everything up for him and everything because he had fucked up.
Now we know where it's going. Yeah, exactly.
But there's nothing new up under the sun. Nothing new up under the sun. Not even the Son of God. There's nothing new up under the sun. Nor the way he died. Okay. Anyways, let me get up out of here. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I guess I'll get ready for some more of this shock treatment. You know what I'm saying? Shock. Shock to the heart. You're to blame, honey. You give love a bad name.